My Mad Fat Diary was one of those things that just passed me by when it was originally airing. I possibly lumped it in with things like Hollyoaks and Skins, all that kind of youth drama, and it was something that I just didn't want to watch at that point in time. But like I said last week, with watching Finding Alice and seeing Sharon Rooney, who apparently I'd also seen in Barbie and forgotten, by the way. So yes, I had seen her more than I thought. But because of that, my partner was like, well, you might like My Mad Fat Diary. And I gave it a go, and I really did appreciate it. I think one of the big things about it, and I'll get this out of the way right at the start because I know everyone's going to say it if I don't, is the fact that it's based on the real work of Ray Earl. My Mad Fat Teenage Diary was a compilation of her diaries from the times that she was struggling as a teenager. In America, it dropped the teenage off the title, and that's why the TV show kept that version, not to confuse people. I believe after the show's original airing, she did release more, just to give more, obviously, information out there, and to, let's be cynical, to ride the coattails of that to get a bit more money. I don't begrudge it, though, because this is a tale that I think needs telling. Whilst not every teenager is hospitalised, whilst not every teenager struggles with weight issues, whilst not every teenager even has potentially much need to have psychiatric help. I mean, I think these days we're a lot more comfortable with it, and we offer it probably freer than we should in some ways, but I say that as someone going into the field. But it is much harder, or was much harder then, to get the help. So I think this idea of going, look, you're not alone. You may not have exactly the same struggles as I did, but being a teenager is a very difficult time regardless. I am one of those people who contends that personality isn't really set until quite late on. I know some people believe that pretty much out the womb, that's it, your personality's there, you've just got to open it up. I suppose what I would say is there's elements of both. There's innate versions of you. There's innate things that you will always be like, but your nature will be brought out via nurture. And that's my stance on that debate, full stop. Nature via nurture. It's not nature or nurture. We are more complex than that. So with the right influences, the right opportunities, there is a version of you that exists. With different opportunities and different experiences, there is another version of you that exists. So it's almost like there is a core version, but it needs guiding to where it should be. And the teenage years are pretty much one of those times where a lot of that work is being finalised. The version of you that's most likely going to be the adult version of you is very much being honed then. So the teenage years are difficult. Plus, I'm thinking about, your personality, psychological development, because that's my area. But you've got the physical changes, you've got growing pains, literally. You've got, a lot of people, their sexual awakenings, things like that. It's a very, very difficult time. And I think a lot of people have this negative view of teenagers, but they're struggling. I mean, okay, the term teenager is a pretty modern invention, but the concepts of going through this rite of passage into adulthood is just a part of our biology. And to experience trauma, to experience persecution, because being fat, it opens you up for bullying and persecution. Experiencing a household that's difficult because your mum's got this fancy man you don't like. Experiencing all of these struggles whilst your mind and body are undergoing massive changes. It's no wonder that someone, perhaps like Ray and other people, are struggling and seek help. Like I say, it is better these days, and that's a good thing. Because we understand that it's not just they're growing up. The other one as well that I don't like, and I will get this out of the way, is the sleeping all day. That whole trope. There's a reason. They're growing. They need the rest to grow. So don't go, oh, you've climbed out your pit at 3 in the afternoon when they're on summer break. There's a reason. Give them some leeway. Hopefully in the future I'll remember this. But still, it's a difficult time, and this is a very frank, open, honest way of showing what it was like for Ray to help other people and to shine a light on what it was like for her. Now, the series does make one big change that I get it, but I don't think it needed to in some ways, and that is setting it a decade later. It would have been the 80s, it was moved to the 90s. But given when it was airing, the early 2000s, it was probably going to be more likely that younger people watching it remember that music more for their teenage years. So I get it, but I would have liked to see a version that was set in the proper time. And the last thing I want to end on, I know I normally end on a high, but this is, it's my critique of counselling and therapy. What Kester did was atrocious. I've not spoiled too much, so if you haven't watched it and you don't want to know what Kester did that was atrocious, you can click off now. That's pretty much all I'm going to say. But for those who remain, so he continues sessions with Ray when technically he doesn't work there anymore. He's not, in private counselling where he's got his own insurance, etc. His insurance to make sure, if anything untoward happens, he's protected, and also just having his employer, at his back to protect him. It's based on him working for them. So if any advice he'd given caused something to happen to Ray, that would have been very bad for him. And that's not even counting the fact of what it might have done to Ray if his advice had been terrible because of the stress he's under when he snaps at her. That's not really what he should have done. So I get what he was trying to do because a discontinuation of care can be harmful. I get that. But I just looked at my partner and went, oh no, I do not like this at all. So, Kester, your heart was in the right place. The actions weren't. But that's it. My Mad Fat Diary is one of those surprise things for me. If, like me, you thought it was something just, inconsequential teenage drama, give it a go. It's very heartfelt, really good music, especially if you were alive at that time, and definitely worth your time. So thank you very much for letting me talk about this. Next time, I'm talking about a film. We're going to take a break from series. And we're not far from Halloween, are we? Well, October, which is basically Halloween month, so I've got a few ideas, but I hope you'll join for all of that. But until then, as always, thank you for watching, and take care.